Tonight, a Metro Atlanta man who spent the last 22 years in prison is out on bond after the Supreme Court overturned his conviction. Joey Watkins was convicted of murder in Forsyth County in 2001. He was sentenced to life in prison, but he has always maintained his innocence.
In 2000, Isaac Dawkins, just 21 years old at the time, was found shot inside a wrecked truck near Rome. And as you can imagine, folks, this is extremely difficult for his family all these years later.
The Georgia Innocence Project and the Undisclosed podcast played a huge role in overturning this conviction.
11 Alive's Cody Alcorn outside the Georgia Innocence Project. Cody, so what's next for this case?
Well, Joey Watkins will go on trial once again. Now, while he is out on bond and his first conviction overturned, he is still charged with murder. But on Tuesday, 22 years after being arrested, a judge granted him a $75,000 bond, and Watkins walked out of jail. A moment Joey Watkins has waited 2 decades for.
It's amazing to know that for the first time in 22 years now, he was able to sleep at home in his own bed.
Investigative journalist Susan Simpson picked up Watkins' case on her podcast, Undisclosed.
GIP, the Georgia Innocence Project, brought the case to me in 2016. And I knew right away something was not right. And there were just clear holes in what the investigators had done.
On January 11th, 2000, Isaac Dawkins was found inside his wrecked truck off Highway 27 near Rome. He'd been shot in the head. 12 months later, Watkins was charged with murder, convicted, and sentenced to life in prison.
One of the most depressing parts of Joey's conviction to me is the fact that he is unique and that he has affirmative evidence proving his innocence.
The evidence being cell phone records.
The evidence of where he was using his cell phone at the time the crime happened, it's not ambiguous. It shows that he was another mountain range away and he could not have physically gotten to the place where the killer intercepted Isaac Dawkins, the victim.
It's this evidence that ultimately led to Watkins' conviction being overturned.
The juror had actually done a drive test where during the deliberations, she had gone out and driven the route that she thought might be more or less the route that the prosecution said that Joey Watkins took to do the murder. But of course, the route she followed was not actually the correct route. And by doing so, she violated Joey's constitutional rights, which led the Supreme Court to overturn his conviction.
While it is one step closer for Watkins and his team on proving his innocence, there's another family who is now reliving the night they learned their son was shot and killed.
I know yesterday's decision was heartbreaking for them. I was in the courtroom and could see how much it affected them. And they have spent the past 22 years since their loved one's death relying on what investigators told them.
There was a second person charged along with Watkins. That man was acquitted. I did reach out to the Floyd County District Attorney today, but she had no comment. Now, here outside the Georgia Innocent Project, they did send me a statement and said, quote, "We are grateful that Judge Johnson granted Joey a bond so that he can be home with his family, and we look forward to the opportunity to prove his innocence."
An amazing story there, Cody. Thank you. By the way, folks, we have covered this case extensively since it first took place, and you can read the full case history online over on 11alive.com.